Eye contact. Your baby staring into your eyes. It looks like nothing. It looks like a baby just looking. But what is happening behind those eyes is one of the most sophisticated neurological events in early human development. At 4 months of age, a baby's fusiform face area, the same brain region adults use to process faces, activates with adult-level specificity. A Stanford University study using functional near-infrared spectroscopy confirmed that infants at this age are not just seeing your face. They are reading it, processing it, encoding it with the same neural architecture a 40-year-old uses to recognize a spouse in a crowd. And here is where it gets extraordinary. When your baby locks eyes with you and you hold that gaze, both of your brains begin releasing oxytocin simultaneously, not sequentially, together. A 2015 study published in Science by Miho Nagasawa and colleagues at Azabu University found that mutual gaze between caregiver and infant triggers a biofeedback loop of oxytocin. That mirrors the hormonal bonding mechanism found between humans and their closest evolutionary companions. The longer the gaze, the higher the oxytocin. The higher the oxytocin, the longer the gaze. It is a self-reinforcing, neurochemical cycle of attachment. Your baby is not staring blankly at you. They are chemically bonding with you in real time. Using the most ancient and powerful system the human brain has for saying, "You are mine and I am yours." Social smile. Around 6 weeks, your baby starts smiling. Most parents assume it is gas, or a reflex, or a coincidence. And in the early days, they are right. Neonatal smiling is a brainstem reflex with no emotional content. But something shifts between 6 and 8 weeks of age. The smile migrates. It moves from the brainstem to the cortex. It becomes voluntary, intentional, directed. Developmental psychologists call this the social smile, and it is one of the most significant milestones in human emotional development. A study published in Developmental Psychology by Daniel Messinger at the University of Miami found that social smiles in infants are not random. They are precisely timed to maximize the caregiver's smile in return. Babies as young as 2 months use timing strategies to keep their mothers smiling, pausing their own smile, and then re-engaging at the exact moment that would produce a response. They are not just smiling, they are managing a social interaction. The neural infrastructure required for this involves the orbitofrontal cortex, the anterior cingulate, and the ventral striatum. The brain's reward center. When your baby smiles at you, their brain is releasing dopamine. They are experiencing pleasure. Not from food, not from warmth, not from physical comfort, from your face. Your face is the stimulus, the reward, and the reason. That smile is not reflexive. It is the earliest declaration of preference a human brain can produce. Your arms. A screaming baby. Red face, clenched fists, inconsolable, and then you pick them up. Within seconds, the crying slows, the body softens, the breathing regulates. It looks like magic, it is not. It is co-regulation, and it is the cornerstone of what John Bowlby identified in the 1950s as attachment theory. Arguably, the most validated framework in developmental psychology. When your baby calms specifically in your arms and not in a stranger's, they are demonstrating what researchers call a secure base response. Their nervous system has identified you, not generically, not approximately, but you specifically, as the external regulator of their internal state. A 2013 study in Current Biology by Gianluca Esposito found that when a mother holds and carries a crying infant, the baby's heart rate decreases, their voluntary movements cease, and their cortisol levels drop, all within seconds. The same effect did not occur when the baby was simply placed in a crib. The mechanism is physiological, not psychological. Your heartbeat, your body temperature, your scent, and the proprioceptive input of being held activate the baby's vagus nerve, which downregulates the sympathetic nervous system and shifts the body from stress to safety. The baby is not being comforted in the way we comfort an adult with words. Their entire autonomic nervous system is being physically reset by your presence. When your baby stops crying in your arms, they are not being soothed. They are demonstrating that your body is, biologically, the only place in the world where their nervous system knows how to find peace. Separation. Your baby screams when you leave the room. It is exhausting. It can feel suffocating. It is also one of the clearest neurological proofs that your baby loves you. Separation anxiety typically emerges between 6 and 18 months, and its arrival marks a cognitive revolution inside the infant brain. The development of object permanence. Before this stage, when you leave, you literally cease to exist in the baby's mind. Out of sight is out of existence. But once the prefrontal cortex matures enough to hold a mental representation of an absent object or person, everything changes. Your baby now knows you exist when you are not visible. They can picture you. They can miss you. And that is exactly what the crying is. Jean Piaget first described object permanence in the 1950s, but modern neuroimaging from the University of Cambridge has shown that the prefrontal regions responsible for maintaining mental representations undergo a measurable growth spurt between 7 and 12 months, precisely when separation anxiety peaks. A longitudinal study published in Child Development found that infants who showed stronger separation anxiety at 12 months were rated as more securely attached at 18 months and demonstrated better emotional regulation at age 3. The distress is not dysfunction. It is the brain's evidence of a bond so strong that your absence creates a measurable neurological void. Every time your baby cries when you walk out of the room, they are telling you something their words cannot yet deliver. I know you exist, and I need you here. Reaching. Around 6 months, something changes in the way your baby moves. Before this point, reaching is mostly reflexive, an extension of the palmar grasp, uncoordinated, undirected. But between 5 and 7 months, reaching becomes intentional, purposeful, aimed. And when those arms extend toward you, not toward a toy, not toward a bottle, but toward your body, you are witnessing one of the earliest motor expressions of emotional preference in human development. The act of reaching requires the coordinated activation of the motor cortex, the parietal lobe for spatial awareness, the cerebellum for trajectory planning, and the prefrontal cortex for goal selection. The baby's brain must decide what it wants, calculate where that thing is, and execute a complex movement to get closer to it. A study published in Infant Behavior and Development found that by 6 months, infants showed clear reaching preferences for familiar caregivers over strangers, even when both were positioned at equal distances. The preference is not learned through instruction. It is built through thousands of hours of accumulated sensory experience. Your voice, your smell, the pattern of your movements. Every time your baby reaches for you, they are executing a motor plan that begins with an emotional decision. Their brain evaluates everything in the room and arrives at a conclusion. I want that person. That reach is the purest form of choice a 6-month-old brain can make. It is not a gesture. It is a verdict. Imitation. You stick out your tongue. Your baby sticks out their tongue. You raise your eyebrows. Your baby raises their eyebrows. It looks like a game. It is not. Imitation is one of the most neurologically demanding social behaviors a human brain can perform. And the fact that babies begin doing it within hours of birth is one of the great puzzles of developmental neuroscience. Andrew Meltzoff's landmark research at the University of Washington demonstrated that neonates as young as 42 minutes old could imitate facial gestures, a finding that required the existence of a cross-modal matching system linking visual perception to motor output before any learning had occurred. The mechanism involves mirror neurons, a class of neurons first identified by Giacomo Rizzolatti's team at the University of Parma, that fire both when an action is performed and when that same action is observed. When your baby copies your smile, their mirror neuron system is creating a neural bridge between your internal state and theirs. A study published in PLOS One found that 6-month-old infants responded more positively, with more smiling, more looking, and more vocalizing, to adults who imitated them compared to adults who did not. The imitation was not just acknowledged, it was rewarded with social engagement. And the neurochemistry confirms it. Mutual imitation triggers the release of endorphins and dopamine in both participants, generating shared pleasure. Your baby is not mimicking you for entertainment. They are practicing the fundamental mechanism of human empathy. Every imitated expression is the baby's developing brain saying, "I see you, I feel what you feel, I want to be like you." Referencing. Between 8 and 10 months, your baby encounters something unfamiliar, a new person, a strange toy, an unexpected sound. And before reacting, they do something remarkable. They look at your face, not at the object, not at the environment, at you. This behavior is called social referencing, and it represents one of the most advanced cognitive abilities to emerge in the first year of life. The baby is not just looking at you. They are reading your emotional state and using it to determine their own response. A classic study by James Sorce and colleagues at the University of Denver used the visual cliff paradigm, a plexiglass table that creates the illusion of a drop-off, to test this. When mothers displayed a fearful expression, 0% of babies crossed the cliff. When mothers smiled encouragingly, 74% crossed without hesitation. The baby's decision was not based on their own assessment of danger. It was based entirely on the emotional information extracted from the parent's face. Neuroimaging research published in NeuroImage has shown that social referencing activates the baby's superior temporal sulcus, the temporoparietal junction, and the amygdala, the same network adults use for theory of mind. The ability to infer what another person is thinking and feeling. Your baby is not simply checking in. They are using your emotional state as a cognitive tool. They trust your brain more than they trust their own. When your baby looks at your face before touching something new, they are paying you the deepest compliment a developing mind can offer. You are my most reliable source of information about whether the world is safe. Brain sync. During breastfeeding, skin-to-skin contact, and face-to-face play, something happens that neuroscience could not measure until the last decade. Your brain and your baby's brain synchronize, not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. Using dual-EEG recording and functional near-infrared spectroscopy, researchers at the University of Cambridge, led by Victoria Leong, demonstrated that when a mother and infant engage in direct eye contact, their neural oscillations align in the alpha frequency band. The brains begin firing in coordinated patterns, as though running the same program simultaneously. A study published in fNIRS in Human Neuroscience found that this neural coupling was strongest during live, face-to-face interaction, and weakest when the adult looked away or broke eye contact. The synchronization is not decorative, it serves a function. When brain waves align, the efficiency of information transfer between two nervous systems increases dramatically. The baby's brain literally learns faster when it is synchronized with yours. Oxytocin mediates the process, released in both brains during mutual gaze and physical contact. It opens a neurochemical channel that makes the baby's neural circuits more plastic, more receptive, more ready to encode. Research by Ruth Feldman at Bar-Ilan University has shown that higher levels of oxytocin in parent-infant pairs correlate directly with stronger attachment, better emotional regulation, and more sophisticated social cognition at 12 and 24 months. This is not bonding as a metaphor. This is bonding as a measurable, quantifiable, neurological event. Every time you hold your baby close, look them in the eyes and simply be present. Your brains are doing something they can only do together. They are becoming one system. And that system is building the foundation for every relationship your child will ever have. Your baby cannot say the words. They do not need to. Their pupils are dilating when they see you. Their heart rate is synchronizing with yours. Their cortisol is dropping in your arms. Their brain is firing in rhythm with yours. Every signal on this list is the same message delivered through different biological channels. You are loved, not someday, right now. The video on screen covers 7 things your baby notices that you think they do not. And number 4 will change how you behave around them permanently.